I think what you're seeing with Trump is he watches the polls like the best of them, and he knows he's losing right now, and he is choosing to not take any responsibility for that. He's choosing to point his finger at the media, at Clinton, at women who are coming out accusing him, and there is not a lot of Paul Ryan, other Republicans. There's not a lot of self-reflection happening right now, and for him, that's dangerous because he has a loyal base of supporters. He cannot win the presidential election with those supporters alone. He needs to expand that base, and you are seeing very few signs of him reaching out, trying to do anything in these last 3 weeks to bring new people into the fold.
And he doesn't just deny the allegations. He, as he denies them, he says, number one, it's that we're all part of this, that we're part of some media conspiracy to bring these women forward to say these things. These women have attached their names and their reputations to this. I would say that. These are not anonymous sources. But then he also, at one point over the weekend, said essentially, look at them. Look at them. If I were going to do this, these aren't the women I would do it to because look at them.
Too unattractive.
Yeah, ladies, I see that and I think, that's, if you're looking to expand your tent, that's not the way to do it.
Well, he tweeted this morning, so he knows that something's up. He did tweet that polls show that large numbers of women are leaving him for something he didn't even do. But, the CDC research shows that 44% of women have experienced unwanted sexual contact at some point in their lives. So this really strikes home for a lot of women. So he's not losing GOP women in droves. They're sticking with him for partisan reasons. But the poll numbers do show he's losing women, and he clearly knows it now.
Yeah, the she's not hot enough defense, I don't think, is a good one. And his problem, as it always is, I don't think he's ever been into self-reflection or actually expanding the tent at all. It's been about the audience he's talking to at the moment, and that has sometimes worked in a bigger way, but his goal has never been these things. Moving forward, can he get off of this story? No, I don't think he can, because he's not a person who changes his strategy in a nimble way. He's a guy who goes out and is Donald Trump. And the reason people are leaving and the reason people believe these accusations, by the way, party ID of the accused is not my metric for whether I believe these stories or not, which unfortunately in this town is often the metric. But I don't know if he can move off of this because he has a tape of him saying he did these things.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Right. That's one of the issues. And I don't like to replay this gratuitously, but this is, and we're going to play the gentle part here, but this is part of the problem. Donald Trump says this never happened. He says he would never do it. Then he adds, well, they're not attractive enough. But one of his issues is that the women are coming forward and essentially saying that Donald Trump did this.
I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Again, he said in the debate that he was just talking, that he doesn't actually do those things. But these women are saying it's when they heard him in the debate deny it, that's when they decided to come forward.
He's got a 30-year track record of boasting about his sexual exploits in the New York tabloids. I mean, this is not something that we just heard about after that video came out. It was in his own book, for crying out loud, talking about how he behaves. So this is nothing new. The Republican Party knew what they were getting. They went in with their eyes wide open. And there's a bigger story here, John, than this campaign. He is upending longstanding norms of American politics, not only in terms of his conduct when it comes to speaking about women or minorities, but talking about the very nature of American democracy in a way that we haven't seen in this country. And I think for the Republican Party to sort of stand there and watch him do that, and Paul Ryan spoke yesterday about it, but I've been very surprised that more people in the party have not spoken out about his comments regarding, again, the very fabric of American
You say
democracy.
not spoken out against it. He was introduced yesterday by Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama, who I criticized Senator Sessions last week because he's a former state attorney general. He's a law and order guy. He's a former federal prosecutor. And he said that what Trump describes in that tape, in his view, is not sexual assault. Sorry, Senator, it is. But Senator Sessions then said the rigged argument. This is a man who, among conservatives, has standing on issues of law and order. It's not just Donald Trump now. A lot of conservatives say, is Donald Trump one of us? Jeff Sessions is on immigration, on Supreme Court. He's a guy a lot of conservatives look to. He stood up and said it is rigged. Before we bring it to the conversation, the Democrats are watching this too. Listen to Tim Kaine, Hillary Clinton's vice presidential running mate. He's essentially telling Democrats, do not think this is over. Do not stay home because of all this, it's rigged argument. The margins matter.
We got to make sure that the margin that he loses by is so big and so clear and so powerful and so unmistakable that when he stands up and says, poor me and it was rigged against me, nobody will believe him.
We'll find the advanced guy about that mural behind Senator Kaine.
Shades, yes.
But that this is, you know, we laugh about these things sometimes, but if you read the accounts, and you guys have been out there at Trump rallies, of some of the things Trump supporters say, that here's a guy who spent so much time delegitimizing President Obama. He's not from this country. Right. He's a birther. Now is he in advance trying to delegitimize a Clinton victory, if that's what it comes to?
Look, let me say this. I think it's not crazy for him to point out and for his supporters to be a little miffed by the fact that there's this pretty coordinated rollout of stories about these women, that in fact with the Alicia Machado thing, you had several stories in the like coming down the pike from Cosmopolitan that had been set up before she used that line. And to look at the media and go, hey, you guys haven't like really been friendly to us for a long time, and this seems like you're working together. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. When you take it the extra step and say that the entire system is rigged, I think that's a problem. But he has done that, again, with the Republican Party knowing what it's getting. He's done that every step of the way. Every primary race he lost, it was because it was rigged.
And I think it's really important, though, that people, sometimes in these elections, you get really caught up in just the day-to-day and the race that we're in. Step back and think about this. We have had election after election in this country where the result is accepted as fair. It was a free election, and the loser steps aside and accepts the results. I don't think you can say for certain that Donald Trump will take that position after this election. And that is incredibly dangerous, not just because you're going to have his supporters out there thinking that Hillary Clinton is not legitimate, but it could freeze our democracy for her entire, if she's elected, for her entire 4 years. Republicans would have to choose whether they wanted to work with her. We're talking about something that is much bigger than just Donald Trump's, talk and rhetoric on the campaign trail right now.
I can't believe I even have to say this out loud on TV, but the essence of American democracy is the peaceful transfer of power that is undisputed between between parties every 4 years, and that does seem to be now an open question. Real fast to Mary Catherine's point about the sort of nature of these women coming out, two things. First of all, a lot of them said they heard him in the second debate say that he had done these things, and they said, hell no. And he actually did. He did it to me, and I'm going to speak to that. And second of all, in April, the Boston Globe, and in May, my paper, the New York Times, had stories about other women, and that was not part of some coordinated deal. So this is not some
tapes of this nature have existed
before.
Yeah.
And even if it is all coordinated by the Clinton campaign, here's what I always say on these things: that if I rob a bank and my worst enemy tapes me robbing the bank and provides the tape to the police, I can scream at my worst enemy all I want. I still rob the bank.
It always comes back to that.